Calmer Waters 22. Please give your girl a like, a subscribe, and a share, and I would greatly appreciate it. So how's everyone doing today? I hope all is well in your world like it is in mine. And you want to know why it's good in my world? Because I choose to make it good in my world. So I hope you are choosing the same for yours. And remember, you can look at life's challenges as challenges, or you can look at them as an opportunity to change your mindset, change your perspective, and see some different results. So that's what I encourage you to do with your challenges. So let's get into the topic. And the topic is, do you feel like you might be too stubborn in your approach to this journey, your personal journey, and the people that you interact with, the energies you interact with more frequently and more often? Do you feel like you are a stubborn personnel? Do you feel like maybe you weren't always stubborn, but you've developed this energy within inside of yourself because of so many unsettling scenarios that you have experienced? Do you feel like that has turned you into being more stubborn? And do you feel like you operate in an energy where, you know, they always say, what's the saying? Something along the lines of, you're always looking for something to be mad at, right? You're always focusing on, something like you're always focusing on not agreeing with whomever or whatever situation or whatever topic, right? You're always going to take that road to not agree, to be disagreeable, because you rather stay rooted and grounded in stubbornness. This is a good one to look at with inside of yourself, because I do feel like even in my own personality, protecting my peace and protecting all of that goodness about myself, even though we all have the good, the bad, and the ugly inside of us, and it won't go anywhere. I always remind each and every one of you that it doesn't go anywhere. You just have to learn how to transmute these energies, integrate them, and make them work for your highest and greatest good, and give you the energy to give to yourself and others that is more on a higher energy field, right? A higher energy source. But that doesn't mean you lose your good, the bad, and the ugly about yourself, because we all are those aspects, okay? I heard something the other day, and I would love to give this person a shout out. Oh gosh. Well, just know it wasn't from me. A lot of this stuff isn't only from me that I speak on, okay? I mean, if I can get the downloads from my spiritual team, or be led to listen to someone or read a book or an article or whatever from someone else, that is because we are all one. We are all working together to be on our highest timelines. And so each one does teach one, right? Something that I've learned by myself, I would love to share with each and every one on this channel, or just in passing with people on my day, in my present moments, right? So we all are teaching each other. I just want to state that, because I think we get caught up in the ego part, which I don't entirely want to get rid of my ego, and I don't encourage that you should either. I feel like when we need to speak to our ego or put our ego down for a nap or a rest is when the ego starts taking over your heart space, your heart-centered energy, okay? And that's where I want to operate off of more. But I don't want to get rid of my ego. My ego helps me when I need to have more clarity on being around someone that might not be so great for me, an energy or an area where I shouldn't probably go. You know, my ego is cautious. It will warn me of these things, and I appreciate that part of my ego. What I don't appreciate is my other part of my ego that wants to keep me stuck, bound to it, as if there's no other aspects of myself that want to be nourished and flourished, okay? That's the part of my ego where I'm like, yeah, you need to go take a time out. It's not time for you to play. So with that being said, I think our ego part of our personalities gets trapped into being stubborn. What's that? Always disagreeable to topics or new ideas that a person, place, or thing will present to us, right? The ego wants to keep you stuck on the no, it's only this way or that way or whatever. And so you don't want to be, as they used to say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You don't want to be that dog that can't be taught new tricks, okay? Because you want to have the receptivity to learn how to look at things with a new perspective, look at life with a silver lining, look at situations differently. How do you speak? How do you handle? You know, you don't want to keep doing the same thing that's giving you the old potato results that aren't working, right? So don't be an old dog that can't learn new tricks, or don't be a new dog that can't learn new tricks. Learn them anyway. So, how are we going to get past allowing our ego to keep us stubborn? And I noticed too about this stubborn energy, not wanting to apologize when you know you should apologize, not wanting to clear things up when you know you should, that stubbornness. And sometimes when you do go to apologize to a personnel or you go to make amends, they don't want to continue that relationship because of the bad blood, right? The bad energy that lingered for so long. And that's quite all right, but at least you changed your perspective, looked at this situation with a silver lining, and you apologized for your mishap or mishandlings in this connection, right? This dynamic. It doesn't always mean that you're going to rekindle it, and that's okay. But were you too stubborn to even take that first step, right? Were you too stubborn to say, hey, I need to cross that threshold, and it's time for me to say my apologies and mean them, truly mean them, right? Or you're in a loop of experiencing the same scenarios or situations in your life over and over again, but yet you're too stubborn to see that you are probably recreating it by reinventing your lessons, or you might be too stubborn to allow this situation to play out in a different manner. You keep wanting it to play out in the way you want it to. And this is where the term comes in, let go and let God, right? Are you too stubborn to do that? Have you created such a stubbornness within inside yourself that you don't even know how to step back and handle things differently? Let's talk about that. Do you even know how to step back? Do you know how to be quiet in a disagreement or a conversation that is requiring you to close your mouth for however long? That conversation might be in 1 hour straight, and you are meant to say not one word. Maybe at the end you can say, thank you for this conversation. Can you do that? You know, we don't really think about it until we are asking ourselves, especially in the moment when the conversation is really taking place and the energy is really there. It's so easy to think about all this stuff when you're not dealing with it, but when it's in the thick of it and it's right there, can you be quiet for 1 hour? If that conversation needs you to sit down and be quiet for 1 hour and be really present, oh my gosh, what a test of your strength that is. And I encourage you to do this. If you have somebody that you know you really need to have that long, drawn out conversation with, where rather than you speak, you let them speak. And that is not easy, because your ego has controlled you for so long. You might not really understand how controlled you are by it until you yourself has to sit quiet to allow someone else to speak, and they could be saying so many things you disagree with. I mean, a plethora of things you disagree with, especially if it's about you they're directing it to, right? But you're made to be quiet and just listen and feel that energy, right? I encourage you to try it. Oh, baby, let's test your strength. Let's test your ability to, and you know, one other thing, as long as it's not violent and you're not afraid of this personnel, right? Say they're an Aries or a Leo. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be, because you can have that in your chart placement or wherever. But let's just say you have a fiery personality, right? And this person might get a little animated when they're explaining things. They're not being violent with you, and they're not calling you all kinds of diabolical names. They're just getting animated, and their voice is elevating. Are you mature enough, emotional maturity to sit back and allow them to express themselves for like a whole 30 minutes to an hour. And only speak when asked to speak. Try it. Let's test your patience. Let's test your your flexibility and flowing energy. Let's test your ability not to try and control everything, not try to control every outcome of any situation, allowing it to flow like water. And this will let you know whether or not you have grown and that you have learned how to handle life situations differently. I encourage you to do this. And I know that each and every one of you I just know that you guys are truly working on yourselves, because I know I am. And I'm not the only one doing this. I feel it. And I'm so happy for each and every one of you to be in this place. You totally deserve it. I thank you for working on yourself as much as I thank myself, because in the end, this energy will be more powerful on the planet than the energy of fear, egomaniac energy, and the energy of not taking accountability for one's action, the cause and the effect of things, okay? I know that as you and I work on ourselves, this energy will be the new energy on the planet. And for that, I am super excited. So, thank you for hearing me out on this. And I am sending each and every one of you self-love, self-trust, and the ability to look at life with a silver lining. And until next time, take care.